that alongside other players are saying that some accounts feel different than others, and I think that's what Rix was hinting at. But right here, strong start coming out from both teams, not giving each other any space, just starting very quick, trying to get the ball as quick as possible. Last year should to get into that rhythm of the game, and a lot of demos already happening. Vaps and Risig demoing each other in a gut flick right there, almost creating the first great chance for RJM. Rizex keeps it into the corner, a flick away from Fabso. Now taking it close, takes another one out. Is Risk flying past this time, and now an open net for Lifehawk. But Rizex back in time with a good save. Now takes the ball on top of Iskar as well. Doesn't get it past Bonner at all. Now Lifehawk once again upfield. Lone burst, so he has to rotate all the way back. It's just snuck over one of the Esports players. But a great passing play right here. I mean, a great first opportunity, but Rizex once again, I think he's already down to a savior medal with the amount of saves that he's been getting so far.
Well, only in 1 minute we see opportunity after opportunity, and right there, Rix cleaning up that opportunity that BERG was getting by establishing a demo on that first offensive player for BERG, and of course that gives a lot of time, gives a lot of opportunity for them as well to confidently clean that ball to the side. But now it is Rix that is trying to charge that offense, trying to find those teammates inside the middle, on the other side of the pit as well, to get that ball moving and keep it as much as possible in front of the defense from BERG.
What a great flip reset by Fapso. That is gorgeous. Some would say fabulous from Fapso. That flip reset fake was beautiful, and then using the wave dash to get a lot of speed on that, way more than Mike Boy was expecting. That was gorgeous.
I mean, sometimes you just have to give credit to those mechanical players able to pull it off at that moment, and Fapso just really comes through with that one. I mean, we're talking about fakes, how important they can be. Fake challenges is one thing, but fake flip resetting in order to make it seem like you're going to bang that ball, then get, well, completely different result from that flip reset. That's just above me, Joessi. That is something that I was not expecting, and BERG is really putting all the stops out from the start.
Yeah, they're starting off very strong, getting a Justin-esque goal on Fapso. Now with a lot of pressure as well, and some good rotations, creating a good chance, but this one's cleaned up by Rix. Can he follow it up? He does so into the corner, but that's not a pass to teammates, so no follow-up. A demo from Fapso might create some space, but the entirety of RJM just seemed really, really hesitant to actually keep going for the ball.
Oh, we're talking, of course, about breaking up with your team. Well, disbanding or breaking the ties that you have in your play, and if you have to take in a new third who's not able to do or fill in the exact roles that the other third was doing, then of course it becomes very hard. But right now it is BERG with that 1-goal lead. RJM have to respond immediately, and that hasn't been playstyle will get them nowhere, as it is still Fapso that keeps that ball under control and is trying to force those 50s, trying to force those unnecessary challenges for RJM to pull that defense apart.
RJM is not creating anything, but they're still trailing by 1. They need to find something, but just pushing out upfield with 1, not good enough for them. RJM or RRM, however you want to call it, right now looking like a ghost of the team that we saw absolutely demolishing Civet Geneva last week. Right now they are being schooled by this Esports BERG squad, who's playing very calculated, very strong, and just seem to be taking control of this game.
Well, 1 more minute in this game 1, and it is definitely BERG that are looking confident in creating time, creating space, and creating opportunities to the best of their ability. But now RMM or RJM do have potential on the ball, but right now it is Rizex as that last man has to get a connection, does get it to Mike Boy, and those are passing plays are so nice to see and keeps RJM at least moving around on the pitch.
Oh, but that should have been a goal right there. The pass from Mike Boy down to Rix, but he couldn't find enough of an angle to actually score it. That was the opportunity for RJM, and now with only 30 seconds to go, Christian bags himself. Will they get another chance or won't they? Now this one's upfield. Mike Boy's challenging, but just gets beaten now by Fabso right there. A pass into the midfield, but once again, Fabso just the first one to the ball. Make sure that RJM can't really create anything. And a boom upfield from Mike Boy. It's intercepted, and now with only 1 second to go, they need to do it on the buzzer beater. A double commit though. So this might be one more opportunity, but a poor touch by Mike Boy. I should have been more done with that ball. Straight to the opposition, and the first win goes to Esports BERG.
Well, we were talking about close games before, Joessi, and this one is definitely one of them. We see right here, Esports BERG taking it by 1 goal, but their defense was under so much pressure. All 4 shots from RJM were saved by the defense, and that just shows that RJM do have that potential. They know how to strike, they know how to try and get that goal worked inside the enemy net, but Esports BERG was just that little bit better, and were actually able to score off one of their opportunities.
Yeah, Esports BERG definitely looking like some sort of kryptonite right here for RGM, but if the last series has taught me anything, it is just don't call out anything before the end of the series, because everything might just change completely after a game's been played. And one thing that's worth mentioning out is 86 points on Rex. Now, obviously, points don't mean anything, and you can perform amazingly and still not get a lot of points, but that is very little on a player that's supposed to make a difference.
Oh well. Second 5 minutes in this series, and Esports BERG are, of course, trying to get that series win as quickly as possible. You were talking about them being dealt a little bit of a lower card, a little bit of a lesser opportunity against WLF last week, but we saw how confident, how strong they can be, and it really shows that BERG do have that potential right there. Beautifully played to the side from Akkad, as is now Rix on the ball, trying to get that ball to the middle once again. And RJM are spacing nicely, trying to get those passing plays, get those setup plays from their defensive side, but BERG just see those opportunities, see the holes, and are able to intercept without any pressure at all.
Yeah, BERG definitely controlling this one, taking it as slow as now Akkad, and red double commit coming out from Esports BERG. Mike Boy with the follow-up. Almost a great goal for him, getting that ceiling involved in the play, passing it down to himself, but Fabso, great save. Make sure that they do not concede their first goal against this RGM squad, and it feels like no matter how hard RGM try, they have so much trouble actually finding prime opportunities. Now LifeHawks trying to get it on the other side. A demo from Mirzex opening up space. Mike Boy once again, but no one in it, no one to follow up, and no chance for RGM. And now on the other side, it is Vapso almost getting that first goal. Now Akkad down to LifeHawks. It floats in front of the net. Will Vapso be able to finish it off? Almost, but great that backboard defense. Squanders that chance.
Oh, 1 minute and 40 seconds in, and there's the pause to the first goal. LifeHawks, slow ball, able to get it in, and BERG are leading once again.
What are you doing right now, RGM? I have no clue. This is completely unlike. This is not even a shadow of what we saw last week. Looks like a corpse that we've seen right here. RGM just not showing any signs of life. They need to really wake up, be resurrected almost to actually get back into this series. They're trying so hard, but they're not creating any chances to go along with it.
Well, 2 minutes into the second game, and it is already a 1-goal difference. RJM not able to play the ball to the best of their ability, always being pressured by at least one from the Esports BERG side. So maybe that's something they have to use against them as well. Force 50s, it's becoming very repetitive at this point, because it's one of the most fundamental things that you just don't see that often and are oh so powerful. But right there, good play from RJM trying to break through, but there is Akkad almost trying to find Fabso, who now has to still get back into defense. And this just shows that RJM are finally putting on the pressure, hammering down on the wall and trying to break away at it one step at a time.
but the pass is not good enough as of yet, and Esports BERG goes with just enough burst in their tank to parry anything coming in. Fapso now on his own, almost taking out Mike Boy, who came flying in. Went for the demo and Rex, but he saw that coming. He dodged out of the way. Now getting the ball for himself. That's just going to roll across goal. But Fapso, once again, with a great challenge, is there oh so quick. Making sure that the Esports BERG doesn't really get into too much trouble by this RJM squad. And every single clutch save coming in right now. Now Eckhard with his own, and a drop down from ResX almost happening. The pressure's there for RJM. But that's about it. The defense and the saves from Esports BERG, enough up until now. Mike Boyce finally gets it through.
Well, Joessi, after a long fight, after dealing so many blows with that hammer to the wall right there, that was that opportunity. And Mike Boy, although it might not be the prettiest goal, he's definitely going to take this one. Means that it's 1-1 once again, 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining. And there's another opportunity. Rex almost sending it into the net as BERG is able to keep their composure, re-establish that wall, and you know, game is going to be one close game to say the least.
Yes, looking like a good one now, Wolf, where both teams are creating opportunities, creating chances, but the defense on both sides has been absolutely phenomenal. The amount of clutch saves, uncountable right now, because there's been so many on both sides. Fabso now showing it once again. Gets the demo as well. One more to go. He does get it past, but it's wide. Just not enough for him. Ricks get contested still. Mike Boy with the B, but it still goes mid onto the post. Just wide. Mike Boy now onto the other side. He might get some space. Takes it slow. Doesn't get any pass. And that's just the type of opportunities that you have to take if you're RGM. That's the type of opportunities that they did take last week, but not this one.
Oh, struggles is always something, and RJM might not be looking into shape, but they do get some beautiful opportunities. But right there, Fox trying to find Akkad in the front, passing plays from BERG have been phenomenal so far, but right there a miss from Fabso makes it really awkward. That's an opportunity, and it is ResX that makes it 2-1.
And RGM finally finding one more gap, the gap that they needed. A couple of errors on the Esports BERG side, but what a clanger from ResX from a really weird angle as well. Getting RGM the 2-1 lead, and with only 5 seconds to go, that should be enough to get them back into the series, as long as Fapso doesn't do anything completely crazy here. He does not do it. Eckhart might though. He keeps the ball under control. I was a bit confused right there to just see Rex sitting still, but apparently that was the right decision. So as that ball dropped, and the game and series is all equal.
Well, were you expecting this one, Joessi? Rex just standing still, maybe he might be having a little bit of connections. He might seem to be all tapped full now. You never know. I mean, I hope he is not having any problems on his end, because that might be kind of upsetting for the next couple of games in this series, because I feel like this might now go to game 5, because this game was very close. Game 1 also a very close one, BERG able to come out on top, and this time around it was ResX and Mike Boy able to get those very necessary goals at the last moment, and that means that Esports BERGs are now tied up in series score. So will be very important in the game 3 to see who actually gets that advantage in series score.
And you were right pointing out that ping on Rix's side. He does seem to have some internet issues, so we might delay it a little bit to see how that turns out. And I think it's actually not even in RGM's favor. I think this is in Esports BERG favor. Always after a loss, you need a minute or so to really get things back in order. You need to find what was going wrong in that last game, what you can improve on for the next one, so you can actually bring it back. But right here, you're basically just giving extra time for Esports BERG to do exactly that, even though I don't think too much was going wrong for them.
Well, of course, we're now waiting until Rix's internet might have settled down a little bit, but of course it might take a little bit of time, you never know. So, I mean, game 3, will be very interesting to see. Maybe it might just be as like the series just started. Maybe it might still be RJM swinging with that momentum that they build up in that second game, or maybe it will be Esports BERG as calm as collected in that first game, able to handle any pressure coming out from RJM. So, Joessi, do you have any prediction for this game 3? What do you think this one would go to?
Yeah. Stop putting me in this position because at this point I just have no clue. If this was actual GM and not RRM, I think I would have given it to them just because of how good they looked last week. But with Rex, it's just not meshing as well. I feel like every attack from RGM last week was a team effort, and all three of them were pushed up just far enough where you can't get punished for it, but still can go for any ball. And right now, there's lots of passes into the middle from RGM. That kind of just seem to linger there. They're not being followed up by anyone. They just allow Esports BERG to keep it going, and they try to control boost instead, but it's not working that well for them, which makes defense for Esports BERG not that stressful and quite easily dealt with. And I feel like combining that with their offense, what we've seen so far, some of the individual skills, some of the passing plays that have been coming out from them, I do think they have a very real chance of clinching this one.
I mean, that's a fair point. I have at this point really no clue to which one of the two teams will take game 3, because in my opinion, we're talking about how RGM was not looking as solid as last week, but comparing game 1 to game 2, we can see a very massive improvement. Like, game 1 was looking very sloppy, no connections being made on the passing plays, or coming in a very awkward spot, very awkward moment that you have to redirect your car in such a way that you can't get the power behind your hits. And I feel like at the end of game 2, that was finally starting to develop. RGM, this roster for RGM, RRM, as you said before, is definitely trying to find their groove and are doing it nicely. So I think giving them a little bit of time, maybe game 3 might not go their way, but I think game 4 and game 5, if we get to game 5, of course, will go in favor for RGM at this point, even though it goes against my prediction.
Yeah, I think RGM have that experience on their side, just like we saw in the last series. It was experience taking it in the end in the game 5. I feel like that is the main thing. Can you play in these type of scenarios? And the RGM squad have done it tons. They've done it in the RLRS, whereas Esports BERG's just a much more newer team. But then again, you have to prove yourself somewhere. And what better place in the Superstar League against one of those RLRS teams? And especially when you give away goals like that, that's not a great way to start it off.
Well, the start is something else, and it is RGM that do take that lead. We're talking about what this break might do to BERG. You were talking, maybe it might be a good thing, because always after a loss, you kind of want your time to regroup yourself, find what you did wrong, and use it to the best of your ability. But right there, not the touch from Echo that he wanted. Livefox now playing it to the side. So this is really becoming a complete turnaround from that first game of this series, already into a 1-goal game for RGM in this favor. So maybe Rix's internet was the main issue in that first one, and they're swinging right now, but beautiful save from Rixie.
I don't know how he got that angle, but it was a great one, really helping out his team there. But he was the one to give the pass as well, so it's more of a fixing of his own mistake, but nevertheless a really great save coming out from him. Papso once again though with some great skill. Rexy going for the double tap, gets bumped in the way, so he can't get the follow-up. But these type of passes that Rizek just gave were followed up on last week, and this week they're just kind of lingering there.
Well, lingering passes might be more than enough, Joessi, because sometimes they can create an opportunity if the defense is not looking very awake and they are sleeping a little bit on the pitch. Then you get taken off guard even by a little bit of sloppy passing plays. But right there, good opportunity from Rizix, almost going for that bump, trying to extend that play and create an open net opportunity for his team. Sadly, he's not able to follow through, but still after 1 minute and 30 seconds, it is still a 1-0 score line, and Esports BERG have to make that first goal.
And they have to get one back for themselves, but right now RGM Must be absolutely running out of the starting gates. They've not given up ever since that first signal, that first goal. They've been constantly put up pressure, but a great pass down from Agwoods towards Lifefox means the 1-1.
Well, what a phenomenal start. And Esports BERG with that read from Lifefox, you might say this a little bit of luck, you might say it's a little bit of skill, but Esports BERG are going to take it nonetheless, and they're not going to ride it off to luck. They worked hard for it. They were trying to break away at a defense after we were finally able to do so. So now, with 3 minutes remaining, it is RJM and BERG at an equal scoreline once again.
Fox getting his first goal of this series. A very important one at that. The defense from RJM looked unbreakable, but they did it in the end. Now Lifefox and Fapso look to get one more. Heard more of the defensive player on this squad. He's the one to take the ball upfield here. Might get a good pass. That should have been a shot on goal. That could have been the lead right there for Esports BERG. Squandered by Akkad. Now Fapso trying to do it on his own. Pinched away all the way back. Flick now. Physical play coming out from RJM. A lot of demos, a lot of bumps. A redirect. Akkad. A great save by Rix.
Oh.
But a follow-up by Fapso is enough to get the 2-1.
All right there, we were talking about what pressure does from time to time, and Fapso was just left with an open eye because the pressure from his team just gave him that opportunity, because I think it was Rix that was still in the front from RJM. Of course, 2 versus 3, we were talking about what number advantage or disadvantage does from time to time. So that is really well played from Esports BERG, using that number advantage to put away a lot of pressure on their defense and make sure that one goes in.
Yeah, some great pressure and a great call to show for it. Esports BERG really showing up back in this best of 5 against RJM. Now, they beat them before, like we said, in the Firewall Rising Stars series, but doing it again in the Superstar series would be a great achievement in itself. Definitely with Rex being there instead of Justin's right here for RJM.
Oh, 1 minute and 20 seconds remaining. RJM not in the same position as it was after a couple of moments at the start of this game. So maybe this is a bit of an awkward position for themselves, but right there we have Fapso trying to turn offensively, maybe find a bump on Rizix. And so that's something that we have to say that BERG really stepped up to. They're trying to find those extension plays even before they're on the ball, trying to get bumps, trying to get offensive boost grabs to eliminate potential risk from RJM. It is of course smart in the long run. They create a lot of pressure on defense, and at the same time they create less pressure on their defense. So it is only a win-win situation.
Passes on RJM's side not being too great though, but a demo by Rizix. Mike Boy, where's that shot going? That should be going towards the net, not towards Narnia. Bit of an opportunity that's just absolutely wasted right there. Now Akkad trying to seal the deal, double tap, almost gets it. But what a save right there, Mike Boy, redeeming himself. Should have gotten the goal, but got the save instead. Now the follow-up and the pass down to Rex, who's put it down to, oh, Mike Boy almost with the follow-up. That would have been one hell of a goal, but it wasn't enough. And now Lifefox will just try and waste some time. And demo though, creating a bit of time and space for RJM, but Fapso, that is a beautiful way to make sure your opponents do not get the ball.
I mean, at this
you
point,
almost
really
celebrated that as a goal.
I mean, that play really cut me off guard. Like, I was not expecting him at all to get a flip reset at that point and then play the ball behind the last defender. You're never expecting that moment, but of course that means that Esports BERG are yet one step closer, my prediction, one step closer to being through. But RJM had a very good start, and Rix is really stepping up as a defender, but you know, they're missing that spark. You were talking about that spark that they had before with Justice. I can really feel it right now, what you were talking about. RJM not able to follow through on each other touches, not confident the moment they're actually doing so either. So I think that's really what's setting them apart. That little bit of a struggle, that little bit of a hesitation the moment they're following up on each other's plays is what's causing this sort of uneasy feeling.
You were talking about that spark, and I wholeheartedly agree. I was just about to bring it up right now. It feels like RGM were told to color in a beautiful painting, and instead they've just kept it white, saying, "Yeah, but we painted it white." It's just there's no creativity right now. It's just very blank. Everything's just all right. Let's just get the ball upfield and we'll see whether we can score. And I don't think that's the right way for them to approach this series. They should be looking towards each other, but it is hard if you're playing with a new third right here, and it's showing for RGM. And now facing match point against Esports BERG, who, it has to be said, have been playing absolutely phenomenally.
Oh, phenomenal performance from Esports BERG, and right there we have one player, Santinani, as Joessi said before. If we were talking about a freestyler competition, they would have most likely used that to propel themselves higher up into the air, get a flip reset from that defender as well. But you know, we're talking about real competitive Rocket League, Joessi, and that is RGM with the first opportunity as Rizix is trying to play it down and plays it past the entire defense. 1-0 for RGM once again.
And finally, some speed on RGM right there. Mike Boy with a very quick pass, but Rizix with an even quicker follow-up. His shot, though, not so quick, and that's what caught LiveFox completely off guard there. He had to backflip and just lost a lot of velocity, a lot of height there. Can get the ball now. Eckhart on the other side trying to get the goal back, trying to get the shot back. Doesn't succeed in it, and now Super Rixie trying to get that ball towards the backboard, doesn't succeed in doing so, has to rotate all the way back, but mid boost is also taken, so he finds himself into his own corner. Not too much boost, and that feels like it's been the story for RGM so far. They have to rotate all the way back, and a good pressure game from Esports BERG. Should have had a goal right there, and fake now from Eckhart might mean one more opportunity. Another fake, but it's not a goal, so it's not enough.
Did you just see that crazy flip, Joessi? Like using the bottom of your car to flip that ball higher to your teammate. Something very special that we haven't seen too much before, but of course it's not putting Esports BERG in such an awkward position. They left enough space for crazy hits like those to come through, but of course they need that goal quickly. That's another pinch almost going in as Rizix hits the crossbar. Oh, Joessi, that could have been one for the Racket Bergs, because I think that speed on that ball was absolutely insane.
Yeah, I'm just glad it happened on that side. I'm glad it was the second goal for RGM and not the first one for Esports BERG, because that would have been very, very unfortunate for them. Also unfortunate is Eckhart having to get a save without any boost whatsoever. Fatso now open it up. Rix with the follow-up down to Rizix, and keeps the ball towards the middle, gives it over to Mike Boy. RGM very close to each other in a demo. Great infield pass. Rix with the shot. LiveFox back just in time though, and now Fapso taking it to the other side. Get bumped away. Still gets the ball up high. No one's there for a quick follow though. Exo does get the ball first, and it's just a pass straight down to Rixie, and another one propelled onto the backboard. Mike Boy doesn't get a great save, but Rix is right there to follow it up and get the ball away. A lot of chances for Esports BERG though, and a great pass. LiveFox Fapso, is it gonna go in? No, a great save by Mike Boy. It's still not out of the danger zone as Fapso follows it up, but can do one more. And it feels like RGM is gonna get away with this one. That could have been a goal.
Well, 2 minutes remaining, Joessi. Esports BERG do need that goal desperately, and right there, Mike Boy was not going to get faked out by that fake challenge from Fapso, and that's something that he's been doing splendidly so far this series. Every time we see him bringing in those fakes, trying to outplay the defense that way, or force a 50 to make it even more awkward. But right now, he's on the ball, trying to take control, gets a bump on Rizix, and is able to create some space once again. So this player is really standing out to me in what I would say an unconventional kind of way.
Yeah, definitely showing up when it needs, when the team needs him most actually, and doing very well for himself. Now, a lot of misses on all sides, and a great fake by Fapso, making sure that the RGM player that came flying in missed as well. But a lot of the redirects are too great on the Esports BERG side. They're not that dangerous in passes, and a miss right there means the 2-0 for RJM, and a bigger task for Esports BERG on the hand, and a task that will probably prove too difficult for them.
Well, Joessi, in 1 minute, it might be still possible for Esports BERG, but according to the last couple of games, it's been way too hard to come back in such a close time period. And right there we have a 3-0. Yeah, no, this is definitely done and dusted. Rix just with a third goal. It's closed.
Yeah, this one is pretty much over, I think, and then that's the second kickoff goal that we get to see from RJM in this game 4, and it means that we are gonna get our game 5, which will be the third game 5 of tonight. So many close series that we've seen so far. A lot of these teams really close in terms of both skill and just Rocket League mastery, you could say. Very nice to see as well how these different kind of play styles mash up against each other. It feels like at any given day, any team could beat anyone else.
30 seconds in this game. We know that Esports BERG is not going to win this game, but will they at least get that consolation goal? That is something very important. It will decide the momentum going into game 5, but right there, opportunity. Livefox playing it to the side, cleared away from Rizix once again. So RGM are really staying tight on that defense, making sure that ball doesn't escape without any pressure whatsoever, as we see the last opportunities now with these 7 seconds. There is Fabso taking time, Rix playing it to the middle, but with this last second, it is of course 0-0. The moment the ball drops right now, it might be over, but that's an opportunity, and going in from Mike Boy, RGM with absolute momentum.
Getting a fourth just for the sake of it. Mike Boy with a good shot, good speed, completely taking the last defender off guard. Yes, it is the 4th one, but any goal is a good one that you can take. And now, like you said, momentum really seems to be on the RGM side. I'm very scared for Esports BERG. They almost got a reverse sweep last week. Now this week they set themselves up really nicely, but now they've lost this one, and we've talked about it before. If this goes all the way to game 5, we both have RGM, I think, as favorite. It's just a sheer experience on this side, bringing in Rix as well, who's been in this situations countless of times. I just feel like they're going to be the ones to take that, but I really hope Esports BERG can prove me wrong.
Well, Joessi, some might say some casters might be jealous of this night already, because we have 3 game 5s, and let's be honest, all game 5s have been closed. All series have had an outcome that we were not expecting. So at this point, I don't know what the unexpected outcome would be for this series, but we start off with a banging passing play. Fricks almost putting it on target, almost following it up himself with no boost, and RGM are starting off strong, definitely.
Definitely a good strong start from them, and now Rix getting it high, gets a really bad 50 by Akkad, while just flown back to the side of the field, leaving Rizek without any boost. There's some pressure coming out from Esports BERG. They've got the boost, they've got the ball onto backboard, with no follow-up yet. A double commit though onto the RGM side. Might mean one more opportunity. A lot of shots just going towards the backboard for Esports BERG right now though. Not a great infield pass. That is one though from Fapso down to Livefox. Fapso now with the opportunity, top corner just wide. He gets a bump as well though on Mike Boy. He's in an awkward position, but he does get the ball away, and the initial momentum in this game seems to be in Esports BERG's favor.
Well, 3 minutes and 50 seconds still on the clock, Joessi, and the opportunities have been traded. RGM definitely leading those first moments, but now it is Esports BERG firing back. So the real question is, which one of the 2 teams at their opportunities, the moment they're firing their rifles at their defense, trying to crumble it even more, will get that first goal? Will it be Fapso and his crew now on the attack once again, or will it be RGM with their super sub Rixie able to do the unthinkable, come back after having lost all their team play, all their synergy, all their spark, but there is Fapso, makes it 1-0, and BERG are in the lead.
And it seems like it's not working out for RJM in the first week with Rixie, because right here, Fapso absolutely popping off the entire series already. And another goal right here to show for it. The speed on that shot and just the way he went up for the aerial, amazing. And that another chance for Mike Boy, absolutely squandered. That's not the first one that he's had this series. Hopefully for him, it's the last chance that he's missed. LifeFox now though, just wide. Almost getting a 50 past everyone. RSX follows it up. Mike Boy gets beaten there by Fapso. And now all three members of RGM in front of the ball. They do get back in time. They can now set up the attack for themselves. Mike Boy can't follow it up. RSX can. It's down. It's in. Rix makes it.
Let's be honest, this is really sad for Rizix. He really deserved that goal. That placement was absolutely phenomenal. And he was right there underneath the ball, really captivated, didn't know what to do. And luckily enough, they orchestrated it well. But I think he would have been able to save it, get it in himself. So Riggs now rewarded with that goal. Of course, extra statistics, always nice to see. But there is Mike Boy almost trying to find Rizix in the middle. So RGM are definitely trying to lead that pressure game.
Oh man, the stress on BERG's side really showing. The double commits are becoming more apparent, and they're happening more often too. For Esports, BERG lost in game 5 last week, and it's not looking pretty as RazeX puts in number 2. They still 2 minutes, but Esports BERG is in shambles.
After a beautiful start, we are now in a 2-1 goal score. Goal line for RGM. They are definitely the top favorites right now to win this series, and Esports BERG have to strike back. But right there, good kickoff. Maybe this is the opportunity they have been looking for. Fapso with a shot on target, and that is it. It is 2-2, but where was the defense, Joessi?
Where was the defense? Indeed, Rix going for the ball there. RSX expecting a touch onto the back ball, but Fapso probably saw him sitting there, opted for the low shot, and RSX, there is no way he was saving that. So far, his defense has been on point. He's been the rock in the defense for RGM, but not this time. This time, he got outdone by Fapso. We have the game all tied up once more. Almost a change right there from Mike Boy. But the follow-up from Rix and RSX makes it 3-2 once more.
See, every time we see opportunity after opportunity, Esports BERG, of course, able to strike back, but RGM, I think it's safe to say that they definitely are playing very offensive. That is also their main and core strength, and are able to act accordingly. But now Rix with an opportunity, Mike Boy being bumped, and LifeFox and Fapso 2-on-1 against Rizix, but Rizix is able to clear it to the side, so RGM breathes to live another day.
If you need one person in defense, I would want it to be RazeX. Absolutely popping right there. Now Mike Boy with a good challenge and a good opportunity. Gets it down. The shot's just right from RazeX. LifeFox now with Rix actually with a very quick challenge. And it feels like right now RGM's just taking up the gear. They're going quick here. They're challenging everything. And it seems to be working out. Mike Boy needs to rotate all the way back though, and LifeFox with a good challenge. Fapso tries to follow it up, but once again there's an RGM player just making sure that ball gets intercepted, and a great pass. Rix 1-on-1, doesn't get the goal though. Great defense by LifeFox.
Oh, well, defense nice and tight this time around for BERG, but with the last 50 seconds, Joessi, it is all do or die. They have to score immediately or in the next 40 seconds in order to close out this game somewhat confidently, take it to that OT, but RGM are not backing now. We now have Riggs, for instance, trying to play that ball forward. Good clear to the center from Mike Boy, and now it is Ackert versus Riggs once again, as Riggs gets a pass on the almost going in, but that is the pressure for RGM that has been so phenomenal this series. With these last 25 seconds, Joessi, Esports BERG are really struggling to escape from that offensive grasp from RGM.
Yes, RGM seems to be intercepting everything. Poor Esports BERG, so close yet so far. LifeFox now though, almost gets the bump. A follow-up, that's onto backboard. RSX is in the right spot right now. Drops it down, needs a quick follow-up. Fapso doesn't get it. This is going to drop down. RGM clutches it in Game 5. It is as we predicted, but my oh my, Esports BERG, please do not lose everything in Game 5. My heart can't take it.
What do you mean it is as we predicted? I said that Esports BERG was going to win. Yet again, it shows that I'm a horrible poker player. You should never go to me with a casino because my luck is the absolute worst at making predictions.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I should have said I predicted it. I did say that if it was gonna go to Game 5, it would be RJM. But Rizix has just been popping on this squad. I'm glad he's the one that's still there because the defense from this guy is. It doesn't matter if it's a 1v1, 1v2, or 1v3. He will make sure the ball doesn't go in, and him making mistakes is just something you barely see happening ever.
Well, Joessi, with that said and done, those were the closest matches we had so far tonight, and I think in all 4 days that we streamed the Superstar League so far, it hasn't been this close.
No, definitely not. All 3 games going to Game 5. In the first series of today, it was Servette Geneva clutching it out to Galaxy Bang. They got the first win, then looked like they were just going to get beaten out by that Galaxy Bang squad, but they brought it back absolutely beautifully to take the win. And in the second series, we saw Team Somnium, who for the longest time looked like they were going to sweep Team WLF, but instead they got reverse swept after a complete turnaround. Arju definitely MVP on that one. And we just had Esports BERG versus RJM, in which RJM were able to, in the end, take the win home. The experience of both Rex, Mike, and Rezex just really shining through right here. Esports BERG once again losing out in Game 5. Feeling horrible for them. They are a 0-2 right here in the Superstar League. Below them still is Galaxy Bang. Then both Team Somnium and Servette Geneva both have a 1 win and a 1 loss. And then all the way on top right there is RGM. Not as good as they did last week, but a good result for them nonetheless. And following them is Team WLF. Now, next week, we will be back with some more Superstar League. That will be this Tuesday, but the next broadcast will be on Sunday with the Rising Star Cup. It's been Joessi, it's been StealthyWoolf, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I hope to see everyone back.